Hi guys, I'm Kelly T. Thank you for joining me. I have a really mixed bag of albums to talk to you about this week, so I'm pretty excited about it. Let's start with Somnium. This is an atmospheric black metal band out of Sydney and Canberra, Australia. And let me introduce you to the band. We have Nocturnal on guitars, we have Ash Elasin on vocals, Forge on drums, Al Shalan on guitars, and Olkuf on keys. And in 2019, they have released an absolutely brilliant album in Terra Inanus. This album is absolutely a journey. It's one that you don't just listen to, you ride with it. It truly is incredible. Where do I start with this album? This is just an experience. It's a storytelling through ancient use of instruments and of course message as well. There's such a thumping heaviness throughout this album. Every element of instrument and vocal is brought to the front. Nothing takes a back seat here, and it's very, very evident as you listen through. Vocally, this is a knockout. This is exceptional. Ashalason has an incredible range. It's just mind-blowing how high he can get, and he also has some incredible mid-range and gutturals as well. It's very, very mesmerizing. The track Solitude of Lemon was one of my favorites. It wowed me with the gorgeous introduction of acoustic guitar that gave this track an initial sense of tranquility. Haunting and stirring sounds of course, the ancient Australian instrument, the didgeridoo, just added such a beautiful touch to this track before being smothered in a stifling heaviness that just seemed to engulf me as I listened. This felt unnerving, particularly with the vocal delivery, which was very, very desperate, strong and relentless, and incredibly unique as well. The drum tracks are so thick and heavy, creating a massive mood throughout this album. Of course, stirring, absolutely crushing riffs as well. Damn it to hell, this entire track just blew me away. Each track leads into the next, which gives it a sense of just an entirety. You don't stop listening to this, you just keep riding with it. So I was led into Alnwick Apotheosis, and just wow, what an impressive track. Vocally, again, so imposing, so mysterious, instrumentally loud, and of course emotionally charged. You just felt it. I mean, I had goosebumps listening. The melody that the guitar created too in this one was just truly spectacular. This album will leave you feeling extremely satisfied. I was very impressed, very moved. The album truly is brilliant, dark and extremely moody and atmospheric. It's quite incredible. You really have to go and have a listen for yourself. Somnium are an incredible experience live as well, and I was lucky enough to see these guys play Heathen Fest just recently. They were very unnerving, very unsettling to watch. It's a very atmospheric stage presence, let me tell you. So if you do get a chance to go and see Somnium live, do it. Follow them on Facebook, of course, so you can keep up with their gig guide. And of course, their incredible album, Terra Inanus, is available on Bandcamp for purchase. So go and do yourself a favour and have a listen. This truly evokes a dark nature. It's a story of an ancient culture, and just prepare for goosebumps. It really is quite incredible. And now we go to the USA. From Houston, Texas, we talk Sift Through the Ashes, a doom hardcore band that have so much more going on than just doom hardcore, let me tell you. But first of all, let me introduce you to the band. We have Neil on guitars, Mark also on guitars, George on bass, Joshua on vocals, and AJ on drums. Their album was released in 2008, and it is their self-titled album, Sift Through the Ashes. Now, as I said, when I say doom hardcore, oh boy, there are some great doom elements that shine through this, but also expect highlights of thrash, punk, speed. I even heard death metal raise its head throughout this album as well. What can I say? This is a mix of subgenres, but these guys have done it so, so well. One thing is for sure, this album is very, very heavy, and it's very, very unrelenting. We have some great doom blackened vocals spattered us throughout this album too, which of course I loved, particularly in Decimation. This was such a brutal start to the album. What a powerful foundation for the rest to come. Lawnmower Man had me at riffs. These riffs were so choice, very creative, very addictive. The lyrics to this track also just screamed brutality, as did the musicianship throughout this track as well. The lyrics really are quite creative and very, very violent at times as well. There's some very, very heavy breakdowns throughout this track and album, which I really, really love. I tend to miss that sometimes in my black metal, so when I hear it in other metal genres, I get a little bit excited by it. Every track on this album will pierce straight through you. It really is a ride. The album's loaded with aggression, drum tracks that will just break you in half, superb thrashing moments throughout as well, which I love my thrash, and I really heard this quite prominently in Neptune. This one goes to thrash town real quick. Neptune was a horrific listen and probably my pick off the album. A crushing and violent listen all the way through. I'm pretty sure you guys are going to really enjoy it. I really love the low pitch gutturals throughout this as well. I'm a big fan of low pitch gutturals. These guys nailed it. Now, I can just imagine the aggression of the pit when these guys play live. So if any of you guys have seen them live, hit me up. I want to hear all about it. Sift Through the Ashes, of course, can be followed on Facebook for all their gig guide and recording updates. And Sift Through the Ashes album, of course, is available on Bandcamp as well. I'll just take a breath. God, I'm so sorry, I'm just horrible. Let's stay in the USA with Gravehuffer. These guys are out of Missouri, USA. Now, these guys just blew me away as well. Let me introduce you to the band, of course. We have James Hischer on vocals, Mike George on bass, Richie Randall on guitars, and Casey Denton on drums. And in 2019, these guys have released 2-track EP, Demon Face / Salingard's Cross. Now, this might only be 2 tracks, but please don't be mistaken. It is 2 tracks punched with so much energy and aggression and rawness. It was really exceptional. Gravehuffer are a punk crust metal band who wear it all on their sleeve, there's no doubt. So let's talk Demon Face, a song about Edward Mordrake, the man who supposedly had 2 faces. So they bring a bit of horror with this one. This is a malevolent track, let me tell you. It's tormented, it's raw, it's obscure in a sense, and it just got better and deeper the more you listened. Vocally, I love punk vocals. I love the rawness of it. I love the delivery, which is no frills and just very gruff. And you could hear that throughout this album. The way they intermittently yelled Mordrake throughout this was rather unnerving, and it worked so well for me. The punk fast tempo that saw this track out was most cool. I absolutely loved it. And they snuck in a pretty fantastic guitar melody amidst the chaos as well, which I really enjoyed. The riffs got so dark in this track. Thoroughly loved it. I don't know what else I could say. Just go and have a listen for yourself. The next track goes into Salingard's Cross, and this song, of course, is about the infamous World War II battle in Russia. Vocally, I loved this one so much. So much desperation, so much anger can be heard. It truly is very exhausting and very raw. The feeling of determination is bestowed upon the listener with this one. It's quite incredible. And the guitar solo in this one just took me so by surprise, but a really good surprise as well. The riffs again brought a wonderful melody to this track. It was very intense. It felt like an anthem almost. When those riffs kicked in, I was like, this is my anthem. It was a thumper in every aspect. So prepare yourself for, yes, 2 tracks, but 2 tracks of so much. So go and have a listen. Now, this EP, of course, is available on Bandcamp as well, and you can follow these guys on Facebook. So go across and give Gravehuffer a like. Now, just so you know, they do have other albums for you to listen to get acquainted with this band a little bit more. And one of the albums I thoroughly enjoy from these guys is their latest release, Your Fault. If the name doesn't say it all, I don't know what will, but it truly is a brutal listen. And last but not least, while I have a little bit of voice left, I want to give a shout out to a young lady from South Africa who has created a black metal project in Dunkelheit, just like they did in Norway back in the 90s, creating music out of their basements. This young lady does the same thing in her home with very minimal effects, very minimal recording. She basically records her tracks on her phone, and I just want to give her a shout out because I think she's very promising, and I love the tracks that I've heard on SoundCloud so far. She's quite obscure, very raw, very low-fi, gritty black metal, so I really enjoy that underproduced sound. Anushka is the lady behind this project, and she truly does give a very unique touch to black metal through her clean vocals at times that brings a little bit of quirky and obscurity to her music, but she also can do some deadly beastly gutturals as well. I want you guys please to go across, give her a like. Let's encourage her to try and pull more together and get this thing off the ground, because I really do think she's quite exceptional. You can go to SoundCloud and listen to some of her tracks, but I will continue to post some more for you guys to listen to as well. So I think there's pretty big things to come from Anushka and Dunkelheit, so let's see what happens. That has been my albums of the week, guys. I have been so sick this week with the flu, so I hope I've done an okay job for you guys. Thank you for the music to all the bands. Absolutely loved immersing myself in your work this week. So thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you next week. Bye.